Hold on. 204 Spring Hill, Hyatt, Oakley.
10-4.
Taking the convo to high levels. Comment, like, and subscribe if you're enjoying Durable Minds Radio.
You know, my bread and butter, I go to work. You know what I mean?
What are you? You the police? You the security? You a security guard?
No, sir. No, sir. I work for the county. I'm a deputy, actually.
Oh man, you the police? Oh, you patrol the police?
You
patrol the jail?
No, not on the jail. I'm on the road.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you:
Why did you say oh shit though?
No, because it's an interesting topic now. That's why. You being a foundational black police officer, do you see like for the case that's going on in Texas? What is your take on that?
What's going on in Texas? I'm not sure.
The
Karmelo. And I'm not being funny at all. I just don't watch the news. You know,
no, I understand. I know you're not being funny. I know. I'm not taking your.
What's going on in Texas?
Have you heard of Karmelo Anthony?
Karmelo and the basketball player?
No. So there's a kid. Karmelo Anthony is. I forget the city in Texas, but basically he's fighting a case right now because two white dudes came up to him and basically was bullying him. I don't know the whole story, but I'm paraphrasing. They was bullying him. He defended himself and killed one of the kids. And now it's a big debate or big argument in the media about was it self-defense or was it not? And you being a black police officer, if you knew about the case, I would have loved your take on it, but you don't really know about the case.
I don't. I might know very little. If I think I know what you're speaking. Are you talking about the track star or something?
Yes, they ran.
Did it happen at a school?
Yes.
At a meet or a track meet? Are we talking about that?
Correct.
Okay. So I apologize. I don't know the case. I think I just overheard, but I didn't know his name. Right. But when you kind of said two kids, it kind of brain. Right. That's the last thing I heard.
Right.
Honestly, so it kind of goes a lot of different ways because self-defense is totally different. Okay. Being a black, it won't really too much. And when I answer this, I'm not trying to take it from any which side. I'm totally neutral. Okay. I have no bears on this case, not law enforcement or being a black man. Just all I know is pretty much the facts of what I know. But there's so many things I have questions on about what the self-defense take would be. All I know, there was a kid was stabbed and he died. I don't know if he was getting jumped. I don't know if he was in fear for his life, if he was getting beat up right now. I don't know. That's what self-defense looked like for me. If he was actively being, basically being beaten or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Bullying is different from self-defense. People could say whatever, and it won't be considered self-defense. It will be considered murder. But if he was being attacked and he was in fear of his life, immediate danger of his life, then yes, that is self-defense.
Right. I don't know the state.
That's my only take.
I don't know the state you're in, but the Texas law is if you're being, you can protect yourself with gun or knives, if you're feeling like somebody is violating your life.
Mm-hmm. If your life is being threatened,
yes,
of endangered of being threatened, and you had intimate death, meaning like someone was actively causing bodily harm to you.
Right.
I don't know if that's the case, if that's what was going on.
Right.
So I'm a little lost. So I then that's my lack of knowledge on the specifics of that case.
Right. I don't know the specifics of the case either. So it was a long shot. I was hoping you knew more than I knew, basically, with asking that. But moving forward.
Yeah, I try not to watch the news. It's a lot of bad news.
Have you ever been in a situation
that happens here in South Carolina?
Have you ever been in a situation, Mario, where you had to defuse one of your officers in a conflict with a pedestrian that was a black person?
I want to understand the question. If I ever had to use what?
Defuse. No, have you ever had to just defuse a situation to where one of your colleagues was going too far, or to where you had to give it some balance?
Okay, now I get you.
Hey,
what's going on, boss lady?
Where you had to give it some balance.
Have I ever had to do that? Yes, but those issues like that happens behind closed doors. It never happens in front of others.
I get what you're saying. You don't put it on front. You don't want to put your colleague on Front Street, but behind closed doors, you'll holler at him and be like, "Hey, man, let me take the lead in this situations or these type of situations."
Absolutely. So, like, things are happening behind closed doors. It's not what people may think a lot of times out in the open, but things get handled behind closed doors every day. Right. When it's when it's dealing with officers. Right. Things get handled behind closed doors. You're kind of like, I don't know if you was raised in a household where it's kind of like, what happens in this house stays in this house.
Right.
Now, yeah, so, I was raised in one of them type of houses. Like, we don't tell our business. On the job is the same way. Like, people feel like if they report an officer or something, like, nothing happens, but it's actually quite the opposite. Like, there's cops that investigate cops. Right. Like, everything gets investigated.
Right.
The reason why a lot of things don't happen because, unfortunately, my people, and when I say my people, I'm talking about my African Americans or Black Americans, will not speak up. They will not report because they feel like, what's the point? What's the use? And that a lot of times is why things get swept under the rug a lot of times. And it sucks. I hate it that it's that way, but we just need more people that can open up and talk out against officers that are in those wrongdoings and wrong situations. You never know what happens inside of the department. It's only because we keep everything under wraps. But people get suspended. People get dock pay. Some people get fired. It all depends on what's going on. Right. So it's just like, when you see something, you speak up.
Now,
when it comes down to officer on officer, a lot of things happen behind closed doors. The public will never see it.
Right. Now, when it happens to the officer not seeing it, do you believe that there's a leverage for the, like you said, African American community within that field, within the police field? Is there a leverage to where there's enough officers that's in that community that can actually, their say can have a push? Or does it just get to where, because like you said, the victims don't speak up, right? So if the victims had the community within that system and they had a big enough voice in that system, do you think there is a big enough voice is really the question I'm asking.
Is there a big enough voice in the system that can
in the law enforcement system, is there a big enough Black community voice within the system? Meaning what I'm saying is there enough Black officers that have a big enough voice that can actually change some shit? Not change some shit, but like really like tell within the organization, like, look, bro, let us handle it, or let us take lead when it's in this situation, and put your trust in us that we are rocking the blue, we are for you guys, but our community feels better when we're in lead in situations.
Oh, okay, so I think I know what you're saying. A lot of times, honestly, like, yeah, just about all of my friends that, coworkers and stuff, we all have a pretty big voice, but I'm going to tell you what it honestly is. A lot of times it's political.
Yeah.
It's not so much us, it's political.
Yeah.
It's the higher ups, above our pay, the people who sign our paycheck.
Right, right. And I'm glad you say that, because
a lot of times it's them. Like, we don't pick where we patrol at. We don't pick where we, the situations we handle.
Right. It's already orchestrated, and I'm glad
it's already designed for us.
Right, and I'm glad you point that out.
All we do is just try to go in, and we try to make sure everybody can make it home.
Right, and I'm glad you're pointing that out, because you basically are pointing it out from the grassroots level to where it's like, to where our community sees it, to where, like, look, I'm on the grassroots level of this, and it's really just supporting my family, right? To where I'm not in, and that's what I mean by having a voice, to where our community don't have a voice in the higher ups, right? To where the community, where you say they might not follow up, is they already know that they don't have a voice in the higher ups to follow up on. To where they know that it's going to get swept, even if they do try. They might be wrong. I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying that's their thinking process. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's why, this is what it's called, Durable Minds, and I'm glad that we got to tap into an interesting topic, especially with you being a foundational black, and you're in the law enforcement, and you actually have substance of the topics we're talking about, to where you go through the situations to where you already been thinking about it, and I appreciate that.
No, man, thank you. Well, thank you for having me, honestly. Thank you.
Have a durable mind.
You can keep the bullshit, I'll take all the money.
How that sound?
You can keep the bullshit, I'll take all the money. You can keep the bullshit, I'll take all the money. I had to
illustrating the ism.
Whole lot of tank shit, man. Hey, the South, East in here too, man. This shit slap like Pimp pants. Hey. This shit slap like Pimp pants.